This is DevAI, focusing on news developments in AI and the legal space. Please subscribe to my channel. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has published its first ever comprehensive data protection law. The Personal Data Protection Law, or PDPL, aims to protect individuals' personal data privacy and regulate organizations' collection, processing, disclosure, or retention of personal data. The PDPL provides comprehensive requirements related to the processing principles, data subject rights, organizations' obligations while processing the personal data of individuals, cross-border data transfer mechanisms, and lays out penalties for organizations in case of non-compliance with the PDPL. One of the prominent features of the PDPL is that it does not prejudice any provision that grants a right to the data subject or stipulates better protection in any other law or an international convention to which Saudi Arabia is a party. Furthermore, the Saudi Protection and Regulatory Authority, or the STIA, in collaboration with the National Data Management Office, or NDMO, issued a draft version of the executive regulation on March 10, 2022. The PDPL was originally set to be enforced on March 23, 2022. However, STIA submitted proposed amendments to the PDPL for public consultation from the 20th November 2022 till the 20th December of 2022. On March 21st, 2023, the Saudi Council of Ministers passed amendments to the PDPL. As per the timeline within the amended version, the PDPL will officially come into force on September 14, 2023, and the organization will have time till September 13, 2024 to comply. Now the main question is, where does this new law apply? And the law has two scopes. First of all is the material scope, and the second one is the territorial scope. The territorial scope and the PDPL applies to the processing of personal data and sensitive personal data related to the individuals residing in Saudi Arabia. The PDPL also covers the deceased personal data if it would lead to identifying the deceased or one of his or family members specifically. The PDPL excludes the processing of personal data for domestic purposes from its application scope. The second one is the territorial scope. The PDPL applies to public or private organizations that process personal data related to individuals in Saudi Arabia by any means. If a foreign organization processes personal data related to individuals residing in Saudi Arabia, then the PDPL will also apply. This application leads to the PDPL providing some obligations for the controlling authorities, data controllers. Before processing personal data, the data controllers are required to ensure the accuracy, completeness, and relevancy of the personal data. The controlling authorities must also fulfill data protection principles such as the collection of limitations, the purpose limitation, data security, accountability, and retention limitation, and so forth. Like most other data protection regulations globally, the PDPL ensures that all data subjects are guaranteed certain rights. These rights, known as the data subject rights, ensure that all users retain control over the data once it has been collected. Different data protection laws offer various different kinds of data subject rights. The ones guaranteed by the PDPL include specifically the following. First of all is the right to know or information, where the data subjects have the rights to know about the data controller's contact details, the exact reason the data is being collected, the methods being used for the data collection, and what is collected data will be shared or sold. The second one is the right to request correction. So the data subjects have the right to request correction of any data collected on them if it's incomplete, inaccurate, or obsolete. The third one is the right to request destruction. Data subjects have the right to request the destruction of data collected on them. The reasons can range from the user rescinding the consent for data collection to the data no longer serving the purpose for which it was collected. Furthermore, there's also the right to limit and restriction of processing. Data subjects have the right to limit or refuse the processing of their personal information by the organization for special cases and for a limited period of time. This right is not explicitly provided under the PDPL. However, the regulatory authority has released a set of FAQs that provide details of this right. Furthermore, there's the right to data portability. The data subject can obtain the personal data in a legible and clear format and request the personal data to be transferred to another controller. The data controller is required to ensure that all data subjects are properly informed about these rights and establish dedicated channels for data subjects to exercise these rights. The data controller must fulfill these requests within 30 days and record all data subject requests received. The PDPL provides that the penalty for disclosing or publishing sensitive personal data may include imprisonment for up to 2 years and or a fine not exceeding 3 million SAR or $800,000 US. Both organizations and individuals can therefore then be sanctioned. For violations of other provisions of the PDPL, penalties are limited to a warning notice or a fine not exceeding 5 million SAR, which is in US dollar an equivalent of 1.3 million. The court may double the penalty of the fine in the case of a repetition of the offenses. What a PDPL may follow the regulations similar in the European, it represents an important step for clarifying data privacy rights and what kind of data can be utilized in advanced AI solution. This helps in strengthening the legal foundation and avoid that innovators get discouraged from developing new solutions due to the uncertainty of whether their solution will comply with the law in the future. This is DefAI, focusing on newest developments in AI and the legal space. Please subscribe to my channel and put any questions or feedback in the comment section. Goodbye.